Couples who are emotionally connected are basically making an opening for one of the partners to have an emotional affair. And being emotionally disconnected many times happens insidiously. Like it's not one day you're emotionally disconnected. It happens over times, over moments. Instead of moving toward each other, you move apart. There's 7 different forms of how you'll know when you're emotionally disconnected, and I'd like to give those or share those with you now. The first, your conversations no longer flow easily. They seem stilted or they seem terse. They don't seem to move in the same way they used to when the two of you were getting along well. You argue a lot. You don't have sex, or you're just not at all interested in each other romantically. You aren't as intimate with just holding hands, putting your arm around each other, kissing, those kinds of things. You're feeling annoyed more by your partner. You don't spend a lot of time together anymore. It's almost like a chore, unless you have other friends there too. You never feel like you're on the same page. You can't really agree with stuff. If you start seeing more of these symptoms and more frequency, like out of a typical week, if you told me, Mary Jo, this is at least happening 4 days out of the 7, then I would tell you it's time for you to start taking actions at home. I'm going to give you some of those actions. Now, if you start doing these and after 2 weeks you don't see a big difference in your relationship, then it's time to really bring in a therapist. Before I say anything else, I think that's the timeline I would like you to judge this by. Okay, the first one is, it's important that you open up. Now let's face it, you can't open up in a busy, frantic day pace. So that means you're going to have to create a space where you both can open up so you can be vulnerable and there's not going to be defensiveness, or you don't feel like your partner's accusing you. Many times when partners are accusing or defensive, it's because they feel that same urgency that's taken them through the day, whether they're getting it from social media or the media in general or whatever it is. If you can cut that out, creating a safe space where the two of you can open up, you're going to feel a lot better. Secondly, take responsibility for your own feelings. If you're feeling sad, no longer can you put that on your partner. You can say, I'm feeling sad. I'm not sure what's at the bottom of it. You can start saying some things like, I just don't feel like I'm accomplishing what I should, or I don't feel like I'm pleasing you as much as I should, or I feel like you're always on me and I'm the blame. And then when I look at my life, I see I am doing things that sabotage us. Any part of that conversation is going to be helpful. The main thing that couples that disconnect emotionally do is they start blaming, they scapegoat, and you mustn't do that. If you're doing that now, you've got to stop, and you've got to start owning your own feeling and taking responsibility for it, not giving it to your partner. Focus on what you love about your partner rather than the parts that are annoying you. When you focus on the little things, do they make coffee for you? Have they done their share of the dishes? Have they taken care of the lawn outside? What if they contributed? Many times when people look at what their partner is giving the relationship, it gives them more of a positive focus that they can hold on while they're going through this difficult season. Make time to be together. When you make time to be together, that doesn't mean you just say, hey, you want to get together tonight. That means you say, listen, it's really important that we spend time together. I need to have a date with you. I need my time with you. I was a better person when I had time with you. And you put it on your calendar and they put it on their calendar. This can be a date. It can be a simple thing like going for a walk. It can be getting the kids in bed, working together to get them in bed, and then the two of you saying, okay, for the next hour and a half, no phones, no gadgets, let's just be together. Let's have a glass of tea or a glass of coffee or a glass of beverage that we both relax with. Let's just talk and be together and talk about things that make us happy, like maybe going on vacation or things that we've done in the past, or what makes me happy about you, or tell them about the gossip of the office. It doesn't matter. The main thing you don't want to focus on is the problem in your relationship during this time, because remember, you're trying to change your perspective to make it better. Next, it's important that you become personally aware of your controlling behaviors. Now, before you say you're not controlling, I want to give you some ideas that may not look like controlling behavior to you, but indeed they are. The first one, giving yourself up. In other words, your partner's upset about something, they want you to do something different, and rather than what you want, you go along with it. Going along with an idea that you're not okay with is a form of giving up. You do this as a control mechanism. You don't have to face the issue yourself. You don't have to tell them why you're vulnerable to that idea, or why that idea makes you feel insecure, or why that idea makes you feel hurt or taken advantage of. Those would be non-controlling. Controlling is giving up and going along with it. It's a passive approach, yes, but it's every bit as controlling. Withdrawing is another passive approach. But when you withdraw, you're basically punishing your partner. You're saying, I no longer find you worthy. I no longer want to have this conversation. And rather than you stepping up and saying, you know what? I notice that this is triggering my anxiety, my anger. This conversation is making me feel bad. It makes me feel scared. I'm threatened. You just walk off, and that is totally dismissing your partner. It's making them feel devalued. It's a controlling mechanism. So I don't want you withdrawing without words first. If you need to back away, you ask for a timeout. You say, I'm getting triggered. I'm feeling really defensive. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling hurt. Can we take this up in 20 minutes? I'm going to go cool off. I'm not leaving you because I don't love you. I'm leaving you to take care of myself right now. That is a healthy way of dealing with the issue of not wanting to be there, but not withdrawing. Number 4, getting angry and blaming or shaming your partner. That's a controlling mechanism. Narcissists use that. Many other people do too, but it's a way to say, I'm going to put you in the box you belong in. I'm going to control the situation. The reason this is out of control is because of you. And lastly, turning to a substance abuse. If you go have a glass of wine, or you go have a beer, or you go have a smoke, whatever it is you do, or you go shopping, rather than sitting there in that muck with your partner and saying, this doesn't feel good, but you are important, our relationship is important, and I want to hear you out. I want to help us fix this. I want to help us fix this, not I want to help you fix this. There's a difference in words, and it might not seem like a big deal. It's a big deal. And lastly, shift your focus from getting love to loving. When you shift your focus out of getting served to being the server for someone else, everything changes. And too many times when couples are emotionally disconnected, they start looking at them. I deserve better. I deserve more. I should be getting this. I provide for the family. I do this for the family. I should be getting more. But don't forget, there isn't a limit on how much you can serve your partner. Serving someone is an act of love. And the minute you start putting some kind of a number on how many acts of love you can do a day, the sooner that relationship is not going to make it. Open your heart, open your mind, be the lover instead of focusing on what you're getting in return.